Hi guys, my name is Noni Madikela. Welcome to the Noni M channel, Noni M podcast. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I appreciate you coming through. Please make sure you are subscribed if you are not yet subscribed. Please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate you. Happy day for the day that you are going to be seeing this video. Now, today was just an interesting day at the Madlanga Commission because there was a lot of things that were said. There were bombs that were dropped, but one particular individual that is always everywhere is Shadrack Sibiya. And I want us to talk about Shadrack Sibiya and his colleagues that are mentioned by Matlala, boasting about them to police that are coming to, because I think he had this belief that they are going to protect him. He believed that they are going to protect him. Let's look into that. And then, wow, I'm still shocked. This is what Witness A had to say about Shadrack Sibiya. Shadrack Sibiya, Mchunu, and then I'll keep mentioning the other people, but this is Seb Stop Brass, okay? This is Seb Stop Brass. So Witness C says Matlala never explicitly mentioned that he directly engaged with Sibiya and Mchunu over this alleged Rolex plot. Why are we having a Rolex plot? He claimed Sibiya has assigned a member of the SEPS from crime intelligence to register a Rolex theft case in Soweto. Why in Soweto? In Soweto, ivelile futhi kwaba. Ivelile. I wonder, is it not that? Is not the police station Deep Kloof? I'm just wondering. Witness told Madlanga Commission that Matlala told him that he realized that Sibiya and Mchunu were using him to fight their own battle and they are not assisting him in any way. So he then proceeded to KZN and met with former Minister Bheki Cele. And on that day, he said he was wearing the same Rolex watch and he showed the former minister to say, this is the watch that General Sibiya and his allies want him to open a cases against the police for. Witness C also says Matlala admitted during his arrest on 14 May 2025 that he had been persuaded by General Sibiya and Minister Senzo Mchunu to register a case against the team that raided his house on 6 December 2024. He further indicated that the watch of his was never stolen. The remaining items that Matlala claimed were stolen were all in the possession of the police. Whoa! Major General Muso Kumalo responded to that case by pointing out that phones had been returned and the guns were being tested. The watches were never taken. He also denied that police took a MacBook. Witness told Matlala's legal action was later withdrawn. To show that, to begin with, that was a lie. This happened after Matlala in 6 December launched a litigation in relation to the 6 December 2024 search at his home, saying that these allegations that things were stolen from him is because Mchunu and Sibiya are the ones that coerced him to do so. The claims that Witness C and his commander had stolen his Rolex watch with his wife Katia watch, 5 firearms and 1 MacBook and 2 iPhones from him. He sought to return those items. Those items returned. Guys, do you know what else that shocked me when it comes to the revelations? Let's not even talk about Matlala's security company and the guns and everything. There's something else that he said that was quite shocking for me. I'm going to show you now. Let me show. I think I did screenshots for this information because I was so shocked. Because all of this now. Okay. Witness C suspected someone assisted Matlala to make sure that his phone could not be downloaded. As a result, the phones were returned to Matlala on 12 December when he was later arrested for the attempted murder of his. Okay, hang on. Let me go get this proper screenshots. While Matlala's WhatsApp interactions with Mokgotsi revealed that the Northwest businessman repeatedly promised to arrange meetings with Mchunu and claimed to be securing money from Matlala for the minister's political ambitions. There was no record of direct contact between Matlala and Mchunu. The communication between Matlala and Mokgotsi also revealed that he became increasingly suspicious of Mokgotsi's claims, particularly after Mchunu ordered an investigation into his company, Police Health Services tender. Let's ponder on this. First of all, how did Mokgotsi? I want to know about Mokgotsi and Matlala's relationship, how it began. I'm curious about that because it seems as if Mokgotsi had a relationship with Mchunu, and Mchunu was like, there's that guy that has a tender, he needs to supply us with some cash. Is that what happened here? Or what's going on? Something is very shocking. Okay, let's deal with the cell phone and then we'll come back to Shadrack Sibiya because this Mokgotsi relationship and Matlala, I'm interested to know how did that happen? On 8th December 2024, witness told the Madlanga Commission he handed the cell phone over for analysis and received them back 3 days later without any downloading have been done. Madlanga sought clarification on what happened. Witness says the phone were not downloadable. Witness suspects that someone assisted Matlala to make sure that his phone could not be downloaded. As a result, the phones were returned to Matlala on 12 December 2024 when he was later arrested for attempted murder of his ex-girlfriend Tebogo Tobejane on 15 May. Matlala told arresting officers that he had burnt the phones that he had been returned to him because he did not trust the police and believed they might have put listening devices on the cell phones. Witness C says this was the first time in his career that he had encountered a phone that could not be downloaded. Damn! He must have paid a lot of money. He must have paid a lot of money. Matlala also, while Matlala had boasted about having a 1.2 billion tender, witnesses says subsequent investigation confirmed that he actually had a 326 million police health services tender. He says it was clear to investigators that Matlala did have connections with police, within the police. Witness C believes that Matlala was tipped off that the team were coming to his home and had been attempting to leave the property when the police arrived there. Haibo, guys. Haibo. Okay. This is the other part that I felt it's quite interesting and shocking at the same time. Is that Sibiya. Let me start from the beginning. This is where Sibiya comes in because his name, Ali Pumektete. Witness C says Matlala also told the police that he was the beneficiary of 1.2 billion tender from the police. He says the tenderpreneur also started name dropping name dropping the names of senior police officials, which Witness C regarded as an attempt to intimidate the police who were interviewing him. Matlala said he had close connections to Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya, organized crime head Richard Shibiri, and SAPS intelligence boss Feroz Khan. He produced personal cell phone numbers of each of these men. That's what Witness A told us. Matlala said that Sibiya and KZN Hawks Major General Lisecha Sinona, who he said he was related to, had assisted him in securing the SAPS tender for 1.2 billion for 3 years. He says crime intelligence officer Khan would regularly use his main penthouse, but did not know why. Matlala said he knew that the police were coming to his house that day. Witness C said he showed them his call record with a Sergeant F. Inkosi, who worked in Sibiya's office at Detective Services. He said he had been tipped off about the police coming to his home. Matlala also claimed to be in constant communication with then Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, who he said he was meeting that night. Matlala said this meeting was arranged through a third person who he did not name. Witnesses says Matlala did not explain how Sibiya and Sinona had assisted him in getting the police tender. He says Matlala told them that after he was paid by the police, he would give money to Sibiya. Witnesses, the third party who arranged the meeting with Mchunu is Brown Mukhotse. Matlala showed them a screenshot of an Absa bank account details for Nkosi, who he claimed was the connection between him and Sibiya. In most cases, he will give as a Sergeant Nkosi money transfers for his personal use, and for the general, he would summon Sergeant Nkosi to come and collect the packages for General Sibiya. These were money packages, he said. Guys, my head once again is spinning. I can't. Sibiya. I think we need to do a thorough investigation on General Sibiya's all allegations against Sibiya. I need to do a video on that, because what the hell is this? Sibiya. I almost started name dropping the allegations against you, but I need a separate video for that. Damn, man! You! Sibiya's name is everywhere. So, Sibiya does have involvement with these people there, the police people. I mean, the criminal active syndicates. Sibiya. Arrest him. He will prove it in court that he is innocent. Arrest Sibiya. He must go prove his innocence. Hambi. Geke. This is too much. Oh, guys. Anyway, what are your thoughts when it comes to all of this? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. I am shocked that criminal cartel, one of the cartel members, there's a cartel of 5 people. They named Katie Molife, they name dropped Vusi, Ket Matlala, and both Vusi and Ket Matlala are tenderpreneurs or tender tycoons, and they are also being named as the Big 5 members. And yet, we find that Sibiya has a connection with them. How, Sanalam? Make it make sense. Kwenzeka kanjani lokho? Anyway, what are your thoughts about Sibiya and these police officials that are very high up? Let's talk comment section. Thank you so much. I'll see you